In episode 2.2 of Unshuffled, we discuss the second and, to this point, final Pale Grey Law album, Eschatology. But first, as always, here's our awesome intro music from Seven Planets. Scotty D.
Matt, we are back. It has been a long time.
It's an ever-changing world in which we live.
It sure is. Well, now you've moved on.
Yeah, so I'm now on a different continent. I've moved from the continent of Asia to the continent of Australia. And you will soon be moving.
I'm still in our little house in the mountains in Vermont, but yeah, we are in 4 days' time. We're back on a plane and back to Jakarta.
Back to next door to my empty house.
Back next door to your empty house.
Yeah. Like ships in the night.
Just keep passing. Well, so here we are. We have album 2 of Pale Grey Lore ahead of us. For anyone who's forgotten what we're doing at this point.
Yep. How could you forget? It's and looking forward to it. And listeners, we actually don't get to speak to each other very often. We sort of catch up during these podcasts as well. So excuse us for catching up on the news. But we will talk about the album at length. Don't worry. So yeah, in changing continents, I have also been through 2 weeks in hotel quarantine. And now, and I've gone from 29, 30, 31 degrees every day to the depths of a southern Australian winter, which, I mean, you would scoff when I say the depths of winter. It's nothing compared to those mountains you're in, but it's still damn cold after not having seen a winter for 3 years. Especially when I decided to walk home from a friend's house at 3 a.m. last night.
Oh, jeez.
Around the lake. Yeah, it was cold.
I think last time we talked, we were just getting ready to pack up the kids in the car and drive to Iowa.
Yeah,
and
I haven't heard about that.
Yeah, and we did. So Vermont, New York, Pennsylvania, everybody's doing what they should do, being wearing the masks and keeping socially distant and whatnot. Once we crossed that border from Pennsylvania into Ohio, and then from Ohio onwards, it just became like a lawless no man's land. There was one moment we went to do curbside pickup and went into this place to get the food, and it was just packed, not a mask to be seen. Everybody just sort of crammed together in this little place, eating and drinking as if nothing was going on. It was alarming. It was alarming. And when we drove back, it was just sort of, we were kind of hauling through to get to Pennsylvania and get back to where there felt like some semblance of protection. It was
right.
And then shortly after we got back, we learned that several of those states are being shut down to several other states in the U.S. It's a thing out here.
Yeah, well, it's a thing here as well. It wasn't when we decided to come here, and now it is. After 2 weeks in hotel quarantine, it suddenly became a thing. I am getting blamed for it by my friends, but I can assure them it wasn't us. But Melbourne, which is the capital of my home state of Victoria, is now in complete lockdown. I'm in regional Victoria, thankfully, but all the borders are closed. Victorians are now treated as if we're unclean by the rest of the country. So, yeah, things change quickly in this world. So, but I'm having a year off work, so that will give me plenty of time to listen to Gojira and the following band and the band after that. And you got plenty of traveling coming up, so you might get some good quality listening time in too, hopefully.
I do. I've got 40 hours on an airplane coming up here soon, so that'll get me easily through the first Gojira album.
Yeah. All right, but the last, month, more than a month, has been, that was a soda water, listeners.
It's 10:30 in the morning. It was a soda water.
Listen, we are Unshuffled, as you know. I mean, you're listening to us, so you know who we are. We are trying to bring some sense of intentionality back to music listening. We're working band by band, album by album, track by track. So we pick a band, we start with their first album, we listen to every song, we talk about it in depth, we move to the second album, we do the same thing. Hopefully, we are inspiring some people to do the same. And if not, we're having fun, so it doesn't matter. But the current band we're on only has 2 albums, so we're on, so far. Hopefully, they'll have many, many more to come. The band is called Pale Grey Law. They're from Ohio, so hopefully they're not caught up in all the maskless sort of lawlessness, and they're okay. But yeah, we're on to their second album, Eschatology. If you haven't listened to it yet, listener, I would advise you to head over to the Small Stone website, and you can download it. You'll get it instantly. You can order a physical copy. I've done that actually, Scotty. And I think it's at your place.
It is. So I meant to talk to you about that before we recorded. I think I've got 2 for you.
Yep.
So I'll just bring them back, right?
Yeah, just bring them back.
Okay.
The other one's the Torch album that I haven't listened to yet. So, but have you got the physical copy of Eschatology, our album for today?
I don't.
I should have told you to open it.
Yeah, no, I don't. I had to get it on Bandcamp.
Okay.
Right. So
anyway, feel free to open those CDs.
Is Eschatology in there?
Eschatology, one of them, and there's of course.
All right, I don't know what Heather did with them. I think she packed them already. But I would otherwise I would open it up. Yeah. Anyway,
doesn't matter. Speaking of physical media, what was waiting for me here when I came to Australia was one of 1,000 copies of the original pressing of Tab 4 from the Atomic Bitchwax, our first band.
Which album cover is that?
That's the one with the HAL 9000.
Okay.
Yeah. And the track order is completely different. So, yeah, we drove out to the country yesterday, and I drove on the way back. I put that in for the first time and listened to it in the new track order, and it kind of worked. So I didn't mind it. It was strange without Revival as the first track.
What start? I'm assuming.
I think the new track order is Pawn Shop Guitar is the first track now on the original pressing. Pawn Shop Guitar.
Oh. Huh. That's an interesting start.
Yeah, it was very interesting. And then I think they went into Middleman, and some of the sort of deeper cuts were the first few songs, and then they got into the really good stuff in the middle of the album and sort of brought it home strong.
Huh. So that was the original track listing. So
yeah,
somewhere along the way,
Meteor City release.
Okay, so somewhere along the way, a decision was made to shuffle that up a bit.
Yeah. I think they got it right second time around. But anyway, it was interesting. It's all part of my children's inheritance. It's going to be worth literally tens of dollars one day.
Did you say you got it on vinyl or CD?
CD.
Oh, okay.
That's how I roll. I'm a CD guy.
I didn't know because the Atomic Bitchwax, they always do the cool album cover, the vinyl colors. I didn't, but
Yeah, the purple vinyl.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Still waiting on the new Atomic Bitchwax. Have you heard anything about that?
no, I haven't.
Scorpio?
Yeah, no,
No,
nothing.
I haven't either. Let's chase that up and
Yeah,
see
yeah. Wait,
see what's
I think
happening
it
with
was
that.
September though, wasn't it? Wasn't that the new date?
Oh, they pushed it out that far, did they?
Thought I saw that
Okay.
somewhere.
Anyway, let's talk our album for today, Eschatology by Pale Grey Law. As we always do, we start with the nuts and bolts, the album credits, the album details. So hopefully you got those there for us, Scotty.
I do. And I also, it's August 28th, by the way, is the Scorpio when it comes out.
Oh, okay, good.
So speaking of release dates, the Eschatology has two different release dates. And what I think in the limited research that I was able to do is I think this came out on vinyl first and then a month later was released in all other formats, or that's reversed. But for whatever reason, it's in my head that it came. Anyway, one of the release dates is September 6th, 2019. And then the other release date is October 4th, 2019. So there was a month, and I think it all had to do with media formats of
Right.
what came out when. This was so we've added a new member, right? We talked about him in the last episode, Xander Rose.
Yeah, with the delightful name.
Right, Xander Roseberry, and
Yep.
he has he and Michael Miller, who vocals, guitars, they're the producers of this.
Yep. Right.
And it was recorded at Minefield Recording, which is in Columbus, Ohio. And this was mixed by Andy Sartain, who is he produced the first album.
Yep.
So he did the mixing of this, and I think if you look up his name, I have reason to believe that Minefield Recording is somehow maybe his studio, or he's very, very closely related to that studio.
Yeah.
So his name's kind of all over it. So it stands to reason that he would be involved.
Yeah, I saw some pictures of the album being made, and it looked very much like a home studio setup to me.
Mm-hmm.
I think I saw a washing machine in one of the shots.
And the lineup, so the lineup, again, Michael Miller, vocals, guitars, does electric and acoustic. We've got some acoustic in here that we'll talk about when time comes. Theremin, again, and the Mellotron makes its way back in. Xander Roseberry is doing guitar, backing vocals, Donovan Johnson again on bass, and Adam Miller on drums, percussion. Did we ever decide if Michael Miller and Adam Miller were brothers?
No, we just assumed it.
Right.
Okay. Let's stick with the assumption.
Fair enough.
I didn't realize there was a Mellotron. I didn't pick it up in my listening. So be interested if you worked out which song the Mellotron's on, or songs.
I feel like I had made a note of that.
Okay. I love the Mellotron.
Yeah.
I think it's my favorite of the unusual instruments we've come across so far.
I would love to have a Mellotron. I just don't know what I would do.
I want you to have a Mellotron.
I don't know what I'd do with it, but I would love to have a Mellotron.
I'm sure you do something good with it.
I thought I had made a note of where I thought it was, and I don't think I did.
Yeah. Oh, well, it's in there somewhere.
It's in there.
Yeah. Okay. So I think this is our most recent album we've covered.
Oh,
and
yeah.
This of course is on Small Stone. So this is their very good label. I was going to call them a major label. I'm not sure they're in that category, but they're a really good label, and so many great bands on Small Stone, including Seven Planets, who you hear in the intro and the outro of our podcast. So a label very close to our heart, and one that I've followed for close to 2 decades now, and have been responsible for a lot of great listening over the years for me. So very impressive that the band caught the eye of, or the sort of the ear, and the very well-tuned ear of the people at Small Stone. And that was one of the things that made me want to listen to them, the fact that they'd been picked up by that label.
I remember 2 podcasts ago, we were torn between them and Gojira, and the Small Stone kind of helped nudge it.
Yep. And they were, they have been, from Columbus, Ohio, as we discussed last podcast, very active in that local scene. Have supported a lot of really good bands in Columbus, working with Columbus, a Columbus producer mixer, Columbus artist, did the artwork on their first album. Now, I really like the artwork on this one.
Were you able to... So the artist was Adam Eckley, but were you able to find more on what he's done? I was not.
No. Well, I've got a link to a sort of portfolio of his. He's got a website. Okay. I don't know if he's from Columbus. I don't know much about his bio. But he does have there's a great mix of some T-shirt stuff. He does illustrations. There's some gig posters. He also does some sculptures and some really interesting art there. So have a look, listener, at the really cool artwork and click through to this Adam Eckley guy, because he's got some really nice other work that he does. And then, we like the artwork on the first album, and I like it again here even more.
You said some of the gig posters, did you notice, were they exclusively Pale Grey Lore, or is he?
No, I'm just clicking through now. So let's say he's no, there's plenty of others. But yeah, there's a few with Pale Grey Lore as well. And a few other bands that I haven't heard of, but that sound good. He does a lot at Bob's Bar, wherever that is.
I don't suppose
he's done some comedy gigs, so he's done some, a whole range of different posters. And cool artist. I like his
Bob's
stuff.
Bar, Columbus, Ohio.
Okay, there you go.
So he might be an Ohioan.
Whenever I'm there, I'll be sure to drop into Bob's. Hopefully Bob's doing okay. I don't know if they're open at the moment.
Yeah, they're in Ohio. They might be.
Wouldn't want to be a bar opener at the moment anyway.
So in the last episode, we talking about eschatology. Do we want to? Do we want to dive into the title before we? Because I think knowing what the title means helps sort of establish what a lot of the songs are about.
Okay, well, let me give the definition. It's the part of theology concerned with death, judgment, and the final destiny of the soul and of humankind. We also, on the last podcast, hinted or suggested that while the first album wasn't a concept album, we felt like it had some aspects of concept album about it, and sort of thought maybe they could do a concept album one day. And this feels like a concept album to me. There is a very strong theme throughout this, and it's about the final destiny of humankind, perhaps less so than the soul, but it is it's got a sci-fi space opera theme running through it, which I really like.
Yeah, no, I agree. And then there are also elements though of sort of even just global warming, right? Just sort of kind of
Yeah.
climate coming back and reclaiming. Um, and so there, but each, and I don't know, I couldn't find like a constant thread that linked each song, but each song is definitely about the same thing, right? Each song is definitely dealing with sort of that study of end times.
Yep. And how humans react to it.
Right.
And it's not always in a nice way, you know.
Right.
So yeah, I don't know if it's tight enough to be strictly called a concept album,
Right.
but it is bordering on it as far as I'm concerned.
Yep. I'm with you. It's not Tommy, but it's there's definite links.
There's some very strong themes that run throughout. And I mean the first. Shall we jump into it? Any more on the artwork, or should we?
I'm good to jump into it. I will say before we jump into it, we did ask last time whether or not the last album qualified as doom. I do think this one's doomier than the last one. So I do think they've nudged themselves closer to earning that sort of that doomy.
Yeah. They are doomier. I'm still not convinced they are strictly a doom metal band, though. I would just file them more generally under stoner rock, perhaps.
Yeah.
With strong doom elements, but and you'll hear it as we go through the track by track. There is a lot of variation from song to song, which I quite like. So there are songs where you go, that's a cool doomy riff, or that's a doom song, but certainly wouldn't say that about every song on the album.
Right. So then with that said, let's jump into Sunken Cities.
Yes.
Because this does start off with that little doomy mood setter. It kind of just sort of just lays out, here's the mood, and then jumps into that cool fuzzed up bass.
Yeah, that's a great bass line. So yeah, that first minute or so is I guess the musical equivalent of a creaking door in a horror movie, just a scene setting. The cymbal rolls, the slow picking on the bass, and then on the sort of neck of the guitar, there's a little bit of atmospheric synth, or maybe that's the mellotron there, or whatever it is. But a really nice starts the album. I thought that opening stanza, and then then as you said, the lovely rumbling fuzzy bass and a really strong riff throughout that first song.
It sounds like they have a flanger kind of on the guitar, giving some mood there, and then it sounds like the bass in the chorus has sort of that flanger effect as well, which is cool because you don't hear that throughout. The other thing that I noted about this song is that in the last album we questioned sort of kind of what if we were able to identify his voice, and I do feel like yes, I do feel like it's there. We now this is how Michael Miller sings, and it kind of jumps off from here.
Yeah, and I really like the vocals on this track. I like the lyrics. This is a story of humanity living below the surface of an unlivable planet. If we don't starve, we'll surely freeze or else succumb to some disease. It got me thinking about what diseases they might succumb to. And I imagine rickets would be high on the list if you're living under the surface of the earth. And my mind went to lots of places. I love science fiction. I was thinking if they live under the surface of the earth, they probably should utilize the sort of geothermal heating of the earth to stop themselves freezing. But maybe they just had to leave so quickly that they weren't able to tap into that, or didn't have the expertise. And I think there is a song later on where they talk about how they've lost their technology. But yeah, it got me. There's a really good science fiction plot in this song, and you know, combined with a few others, there's a really good film in here somewhere as well as a really good album. And there's, towards the end of this song, they don't really do solos, guitar solos. They're not a solo band. They're not a show-offy guitar band. They weren't on the first album, and they're not here. But it's about as close as they get to a solo with a little musical interlude at least, and a solo-y bit, which I quite liked as well.
Yeah, they do with the solos. A lot of their solos are sort of outgoing, kind of, and they're ending the song on the solo more often than not.
Yeah. Mm.
Speaking of which, you were talking. I was reading a book actually at the time that while we were doing this called "The Deep" by River Solomon, which is
right.
It's a novella, and it's about a society that is living underwater. It's more driven by it's a reflection of racial relations in the United States more than what's happening here, but it is tapping into sort of that ideas of how sort of we adapt to survive.
Yeah. Yep. Sounds good. And there's a lot of cool food for thought in this album. I like the fact that they're just boldly embracing some cool sci-fi concepts and running with them. And overall, yeah, I really like that first song. I found myself, not quite punching the sky, but not far off a few times, particularly with that first song. It's close to my favorite. It's one of my favorites, at least, off the album.
So this actually brings us moving into the next, because there are three songs that I haven't been able to pinpoint which one, but this next one, Greed Springs Eternal, this is moving into one of my favorites. And the first thing that got me on this were the drums, right? It's got a cool groove. Yeah. This is definitely, here we're moving into stoner rock.
Absolutely.
I do like the melody, but the drums on this track I felt definitely more present and better mixed than on the last one.
Mm-hmm. So for me, what I noticed switching from the doom to the stoner was the change in the cymbals. So this is the closed hi-hats as opposed to the splashy cymbals on the doomier stuff. I thought of Queens of the Stone Age when on this and a couple of other tracks where it has that stoner groove through it. Also, not only in the drums, but there's also a noodling sound, a noodling sort of guitar bit through the chorus here that reminded me of some of Josh Homme's, style.
Right.
So,
that first track is the first track is heavily atmospheric. This one kind of starts to get more into kind of just a groove.
Yep. Yeah, and a cool groove too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So was this your favorite, or one of your favorites?
It's one of the favorites. I'll narrow it down by the end of this conversation.
All right. Great song title too.
Yeah, it is.
Greed Springs Eternal.
And so
that's one of the other themes on the album, is the inequality and the sort of splintering of humanity into the haves and have-nots and the survivors and the others. So, really cool. Food for thought again.
The next one moving into the next one is more of one of those, I guess if we were to call it an atmosphere piece, is Before the Fall. And in this one now, we just kind of, what it does is it picks up on the fuzz from the last track, right? So it still starts out fuzzed out, but we go back into kind of these more minor chords. And I think that the theremin comes into play here and just sort of kind of lays out the, sort of sets up the mood again. Brings it back to kind of that.
Yeah, so that's the... this was the sort of Howling Winds,
Yeah.
Desolate Earth, which I think they did a little bit of that on the first album as well. Yeah, so here we're back to the open cymbals, the doomy riff, and ashes falling like rain. Great imagery, and a really. I think this is probably the heaviest they've sounded to this point. This song, I thought, cool, heavy song. I like doom, and this was good.
Right. All right, so I've made up my mind. It's track 4. That is Regicide. This is my favorite.
Oh, okay.
Here's why.
Yeah.
How many fun little dance numbers about killing kings are there out there?
Not many.
It's got this, the cool little guitar solo again to take us out, but it's just this dancey little groove about killing kings, and then and I like what I also like about this song. There's that little breakdown in the middle of the song, just to kind of for our smoker friends, right? So while you're out there dancing, kind of give everybody a chance to catch their breath, and then they fire back into it again. So I thought that was considerate as well. I think this might be my favorite song, actually.
Yeah, I do like the shuffling rhythm here. It is a good dance song, as you said, surprisingly. And there's a bit of theremin there. There is a heavier riff in there, later on, and a cool dirgy guitar solo. I thought it perhaps ended a little abruptly, but yeah, I made a note here, and I like paraphrasing people. Here I'm paraphrasing Dirty Harry Callahan. A band's got to know their limitations, and I think one of the things I like about this band is that they do know their limitations and work well within those.
Mm-hmm.
I've never at any point listening to this band thought, wow, that's the greatest bit of guitar playing I've ever heard, or that drumming was amazing. But what they do so well is combine the elements that they can access into really good songs. And, I mean that to be a compliment. They know what they bring, and they combine it really well. And this is a good example of that. And it was perhaps a little more Game of Thrones than sort of Asimov, but I still liked it.
Well, so this now brings us to Waiting for the Dawn.
Yeah. Wow.
So it's always track 5, isn't it? Track 5 is always that acoustic. That's when the ballad comes into play.
The end of side 1.
Yep. And that's it. Sort of it kind of it is. If so, I was gonna, when I talked about track 5 and track 6, I sort of looked at them as end of side 1 and beginning of side 2, and this is sort of that kind of bringing us all down, bringing us all back down, bringing it back into the mood, and continuing, I guess, that theme of end times.
Yeah, I mean, it is bold. I mean, I admire them for putting this on here. You always run the risk with an acoustic song of sort of calling to mind that annoying guy by the campfire who brings out his guitar and annoys all the men, and but they managed to avoid that. It's got simple chords, a simple song structure. It's good though. I liked it. It's kind of bleak but hopeful at the same time. Waiting for the dawn. So there is this idea that there is some hope here. We might get there in the end. And I admired. It was a bold move, but good on them for saying, you know what, let's just do it. Let's just put this acoustic song on there, and who cares? And I think it's good. I enjoyed it. And they're it's certainly not campfire guy. I didn't get that vibe at all.
So moving into the Rift, track 6.
Yep.
what I assume is
Yep.
side two. Um,
Mhm.
I like, so Sunken Cities kind of brought us in with this kind of, just sort of this mood builder. And I think that this is a really killer opener for side two. We just go.
Mm.
Right. I love the
Yep.
drums and the guitar working together in the intro. Here you can hear the theremin again, and we kind of sort of get back into that. I feel like you can kind of divide this album by which tracks are more groove oriented and which tracks
Yep.
are more atmospheric. And this is
Yep.
definitely, we're now back into sort of this groove oriented. And I looked and I couldn't find, I don't know if Xander Roseberry has anything to do with this, because a lot of these more groove driven songs do sound different than the first album, but there's no way there's just not enough of to be able to know,
Yep.
if he brought that to the table or not.
Yeah, would be guessing. This is their film clip song, so they do have an official film clip to this. There's a link to that on the show notes, which has some cool retro sci-fi footage that they've dug up from somewhere or other. But it's good fun. It's that I do agree. This is groovy. This is the Quatsa influence again. That cool. It's a good song. I thought, again, maybe over too quickly a little bit, perhaps. I made that note on a couple of songs where I thought, oh, another verse would have been nice there, or another just something different, and then a closing bit or something would have been good. But a really good song and a fun film clip if you've got a few minutes to spare. Yeah.
And so now moving back, this, by the way, when I had said that I was torn between 3 tracks in the favorites, this was the third.
This is my favorite.
This is your favorite.
Yep, Void Cursed.
Oh, this next one that's coming up is your favorite.
Yeah, sorry, not the riff. The next one is.
Okay, well then you take this one on.
All right. So we're back to the doomy stuff. The detuned riff, we've got a sort of wailing guitar sound layered over the top of this slow doomy riff. I love this sound on this album. Part of the reason I really like the song is I really like the lyrics. So this is space arc stuff, and that's a whole sort of genre of science fiction, the space arc genre, which is the idea that if you want to get to anywhere interesting in the universe, it's going to take a very, very long time, often generations. And in this song, they're talking about a space arc that has been, the rich people of Earth abandoned the Earth, left this wasteland of a planet and set off in search of some new home, but got lost on the way, and now they're just wandering the universe. So really love the lyrics, and this I certainly didn't ended too quickly with this one. This I thought was their most complete song, had a really nice finish. So as a whole, this is not just because it's doomy and I like the lyrics, but also just as a piece of songwriting, I thought this was the best example of a complete composition. That's my favorite. And a cool song title as well, Void Cursed.
This, I think, is also one that they still play live. If you look at, I looked at some of their set lists, and this one, I mean, I guess it would. It's off their new album. I shouldn't have said that.
Up at Bob's Bar.
Right, I shouldn't have been so shocked when I said that. So this is, again, it's sort of that mood setting atmosphere song. This one, there were elements of this that also took me back to the first album. Yeah. So when I was trying to figure out what songs Xander Roseberry had influence over, and again, who knows? I mean, he was the producer. He probably had influence over all of it. But this kind of did feel more Michael Miller style of what I understood from that first album. All right. Then the next one, Silent Command, track 8. This one, so I found myself doing kind of, a little head nod throughout, not quite as dancey as Regicide. But kind of a groove. Found myself moving a little bit. But all of a sudden there's that Beach Boys style choir in the chorus, which at first was disarming, but went back and listened to it, and a bold move. And I like it. I like what they did. I like that they brought that in. I like that they went for it. They worked on that.
Yeah, well, they had a couple of those choruses on their debut, so this was the first time we'd heard it on this album.
Mm-hmm.
It's a beautiful tale of a seductress leading a love-struck young man upstairs, up to the upper levels of a tower, and pushing him off the ledge. It does have a sort of dark fairy tale quality to it, I thought. They called to mind, again, the Queens of the Stone Age album. This was the sort of lullabies to paralyze. Certainly more Game of Thrones than science fiction. And there's been a couple of Game of Thrones moments also with the Regicide, I thought. So
right.
There's a little bit of a GOT influence at times. But yeah, I enjoyed it. This was good.
And the Beach Boys.
And the Beach Boys.
Dark lullaby with the Beach Boys.
Yeah, and a sea shanty overtone. Nice mix. What's the next one? Track 9, Undermined, is that correct?
Yep. Go ahead.
I didn't really make any notes on this, so I'm interested to hear your thoughts.
Well, unfortunately, I didn't either.
I think it's that kind of song, right?
Yeah, I wrote cool little jammy tune.
Yeah, I wrote bit meh filler.
Yeah, it's track 9.
Yeah, it's always track 9, isn't it? So nothing wrong with it, but just didn't stand out among all the other among all the other tracks, especially with coming off the Beach Boys sea shanty.
So that brings us to the last track on the album, Eschatology.
Yeah, it does.
This one, and I would need to go back and pinpoint it again. There was something about this track that really reminded me of something off of Faith No More, Angel Dust.
Oh.
There was something about whether it was the backing ambiance. There's a feel to this song that felt, Faith No More, Angel Dust was sort of what, we've got kind of that cool fuzzed out bass, especially like at the 3-minute mark where they kind of go in that direction. You've got the harmonies. But there was sort of, and maybe it's the theremin, maybe it's the mellotron. I would need to go back to pinpoint exactly where in Angel Dust I'm thinking of, but kind of one of those deeper cuts.
Okay. There is a slightly different guitar sound through the verses on this.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's not quite acoustic, but it's somewhere
cleaner.
In between. Semi-acoustic, I suppose.
Yeah.
Maybe it was that. I'm just trying to think what's different about this track to the others, but
I don't know. I'm looking up Faith No More while you're talking about that.
Great album. I might go and have a listen to that before we move on to Gojira. It does change quite a lot in the last minute. That little very heavy finish to it, and then there's the outro, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Which the outro I thought was a really nice bookend with that atmospheric intro. And this was that, I was crying out for a longer, trippy, tripped out song on the previous album, and we never quite got there up to this point. This, I think, was the closest we got across the two albums to that.
Right.
To that dream. And I thought this was a really nice way to finish the album. Sounds like you agree.
Yeah, no, I thought that this was a great end to the album.
Yeah.
It was it kind of has it brings everything together again. Like I said, it's got the fuzz, but it's got the atmosphere, it's got the harmonies, it's got the groove. It kind of
Yep. Yeah, all the elements.
perfect for a title track too. If you think about it, the fact that it ties everything together.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. So it sounds like you're pretty positive overall on the album.
Yeah, no, absolutely, I am.
Yeah, me too.
I enjoyed this album. I enjoyed this album more than the first one for sure. Like I definitely, there was a sense of I feel like the songwriting was better. I feel like the lyric writing was better. I feel the production was better. I mean, they clearly had more money to put into it, but I definitely enjoyed this one more than the other one.
Yeah, I agree. It's really is what this I like. I think stoner rock's probably my favorite genre, but I like it when it sort of veers towards the heavier side of the stoner rock spectrum.
Mm-hmm.
And so I really thought this hit the sweet spot as far as my personal preferences are concerned. A heavy, doomy, but not over the top stoner album. And well done. It's got some, some themes that I could really buy into. If I had to knock half a point off, for me, it's probably the production. I actually preferred the production on the first album. I thought there was a little bit of muddiness at times. And I guess we've been a bit spoilt because by the time the Atomic Bitchwax got to those last couple of albums, they'd really had that clean sound down. Like that was as clean, Gravitron was as beautifully produced an album as I've heard in a long time. So I wouldn't say the production is perfect, but I mean, I think it's well balanced. I can hear every instrument and I like the guitar sound, but there just is a little bit of muddiness. I thought at times, but then, when I was listening to it in the car or, just out and about, that wasn't an issue, but it was just when I had the good headphones going through, the good computer, the high quality files, I thought, it's not quite 100%, but it's not far off. It's not badly produced, but it's not perfect. Hopefully they can just dial that extra notch on the next album.
Right.
I did like the fact that, and we were hoping for this last time, that they sort of they were more consistent with their vocals, and they certainly got that. I really like this guy's singing. He's a good singer. And enjoyed that throughout. As I said early on, I reckon there's a really good film in here somewhere. And yeah, I'm happy for them to go down that concept album path and just keep running with things. Their themes are fairly consistent. It'd be nice now to hear them. I mean, environmental, the destruction of planet Earth is a great and very common theme in metal and heavier music. I'd love to hear them perhaps try something more personal on the next album or two, and a bit more introspective rather than telling that outward tale of humanity. But let's hear about what's going on inside the human, more about the individual human condition rather than humanity as a whole. But, they can do what they want, but, I would like a little more introspection perhaps in future albums.
I get that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
But yeah, really enjoyed it. Thoroughly enjoyed it, and was happy to have this as I went through my hotel quarantine, and but even more so more recently, getting out into the Australian countryside, catching buses and driving under the beautiful blue Australian sky that I've missed so much. This has been a nice companion as I've reintroduced myself to the country I love.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
So with regards to the band Brownlow.
Oh yeah, yeah, we got to do that.
Yeah, we do. But I'm gonna ask you to start.
Huh? Well, as you can tell, I put a lot of thought into this.
See, all right then. All right. I'll start. Well, first off, we've never done one with 4 members.
No.
Right? So we've always done it on that rating, the most point. It was a 3-2-1, and the top got the most points, right? The 3 points went to the top guy.
Yeah, someone's going to miss out.
That's what so is that it? Somebody's going to get a 0? Because that's what I'm struggling with here.
Oh, that's so mean.
All right, so here, let me work through this. Let me work through my thought process here.
All right.
So I feel like, for me, here's the thing. I really like the way the drums and the bass work together on this album.
Yep.
But I don't feel like I can isolate them, right? I think the bass has some really cool things going on, and the drums has some really cool things going on. I feel like the top 2 spots have to go to Michael Miller and Xander Roseberry. Just they sort of constructed, they created. Now, so you can't do that. Like I can't create a Donovan Johnson, Adam Miller sort of and give that entity 1 point. I have to, one of these guys has gotta take the hit, don't they?
Well, it's our podcast. We can do what we want.
We can do what we want. Well, we got to be consistent because I think the next band, I think we're getting into like 5 people.
Oh, that's going to be tough. Look, I'll give you mine while you ponder what you're going to do.
All right.
Michael Miller 3. Love the fact that he seems like, as we have mentioned before, he seems like the driving force in the band, and I admire the fact that he's pinned down his vocal style. And it seems to be his vision that's coming through in the lyrics and the songs. I'm going to give to the bass, the fuzzy. I like the fuzzy bass sound, as you know. And again, we're not talking Chris Kosnick here, but it plays its role and a really nice sound. So nicely mixed bass. It's always nice to hear the bass when you're listening to a band, but not be overwhelmed by it. And so we got that. And I'm going to go with the drums. I thought the drums set the tone on every song. So it was, for me, from moving from one song to the other, it was the drums that first made it clear to me what they were doing with that song. So I'm going to go Mike Miller, bass player, who is?
Donovan Johnson,
and then the drums for 1.
All right. So what's interesting now, okay, so I found myself, as I was listening to you, reformatting everything that I just said. I'm also with you. Michael Miller, I got to give to the top spot. But as I'm looking back at my notes, I'm realizing anything I've had to say about Xander Roseberry was not sure what not sure where he sort of added on to what was being heard. Whereas with Donovan Johnson, I've got so many where the drums were just certain bits about the drums jump out at me. So I'm going to go Michael Miller 3, Adam Miller, the drummer, 2, Donovan Johnson, the bass player, 1, and then Xander Roseberry, I guess,
misses out
0. Yeah. So that's, so even if we've got 5, we've got 2 guys taking 0. So it's 3, 2, 1. Let's do it. All right.
Stick with it. Good. All right.
So that gives us, I'm trying to, Michael Miller is the winner, but I'm trying to figure out, but who's the number 2 here? Was it Donovan Johnson or Adam Miller? Because I think it was close.
Let's add it up and put it on the show notes. I can't remember. Well done, Michael Miller, on winning the band Brownlow for your band so far. All right, so we're done with their complete catalogue for now. I'm sure there'll be another one soon enough, and I'm looking forward to it. And when they release it, we'll go back and we'll have a listen.
Donovan Johnson, by the way, took the number 2 spot.
Right.
Just a hair above Adam Miller.
Okay. All right. Congratulations to all who were involved.
If the folks at home were Donovan Johnson are hanging on the edge of the seat needing to know now.
I'm sure they were.
I've got it for you.
Yeah.
So, yes. All right. We next time, Gojira. And
Gojira. Yep.
We'll be closer together. What? We'll have a 3-hour time difference next time?
Yeah, and it won't be 2:00 in the morning, hopefully,
Right.
for me or for you. And yeah, we will be closer together. And good luck with everything you've got to go through to get back to Jakarta.
Yeah, thank you. And you guys stay healthy and enjoy this.
Yeah, well, it's nice. I've forgotten. Winter has been a pleasant surprise. I was dreading it, and the first week was pretty tough. But I think a sunny winter's day is. I've forgotten how lovely that can be, especially when you're out, climbing up the side of a hill or out in the forest somewhere. It's been really nice. So let's hope things don't get any worse here in where I am, and I can continue to enjoy the great outdoors.
Right.
Crazy time, and yeah. Hopefully, I think Gojira is going to be a nice soundtrack to all the craziness in the world around us. I'm looking forward to what we're about to embark on. I think it's about and that's why we chose them. I've always wanted to listen to Gojira. I've actually seen them live, and some people who we know and respect have told us we've got to listen to Gojira. So yeah, here we go. It's going to be fun.
Right, and I think we're looking at 5 or 6 albums. So lock in on this one.
Yeah, we'll get our teeth into that.
Oh, by the way, just before we sail off here, the Atomic Wax, you can listen to the title track "Scorpio" is now available.
Oh, okay, great.
I just found that, so I haven't listened to it yet.
Okay,
Found it while we were chatting.
All right, check the show notes. We'll put the link in there.
Yep. All right. Well, listeners.
You've been listening to Unshuffled. Don't forget, we have a website, unshuffledpod.com. You can get us on Twitter at unshuffledpod. And you can send us an email, unshuffledpod@gmail.com. Are the various methods you can contact us. And we'd love to hear from you. We highly recommend that you track down the first Gojira album, which I think is pretty hard to get, but you can always just get the digital files if you can't find the physical copy. And join us as we continue on our journey into musical intentionality. Thank you, Pale Grey Law, for entertaining us over the last few weeks. Well, it's almost been a couple of months now, hasn't it?
It sure feels like it.
Yeah, but thoroughly enjoyed that little journey, and
Yes.
long may you keep entertaining the people of Columbus and people all around the world. And hopefully soon you'll be back playing live. Thank you, Small Stone and Seven Planets, for giving us the honor of allowing us to use such a cool song in our opening and closing for the podcast. And thank you, listeners, for joining us on this journey into musical intentionality. And stick with us as we go onwards and upwards into the world of Gojira. And thank you, Scott.
Thank you, listeners. Thank you, Matt. And be well and be healthy.
And rock out.
Rock out.
All right. See you next time.
Bye.